Hey YouTube, today we're taking a look at some Squid Game minifigures. Hey everyone and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Hope you're well, and in today's episode we're going to be diving into this box and taking a look at a set of LEGO Compatible Squid Game minifigures. Before we do remember to hit that like button if you enjoy this video and hit that subscribe button to join our LEGO community. But back to this box and the minifigures. Like a lot of you in 2021, one of the highlights of Netflix for me was Squid Games. For those that haven't seen this show, this video might be one to miss until you see the actual show itself. Now the nature of Squid Games does mean it's not the sort of thing that fits into the LEGO ethos around the play experience and adult themes. So these products are unofficial LEGO minifigures, so are called LEGO compatible. Doing a Google and looking at my usual websites for customised LEGO parts first took me to a site I regularly use called Firestar Toys. This site, for those that haven't used it before, offers an array of customised minifigures, accessories and printed tiles, and I've used it before to get various customised tiles. As you can see here, they do have minifigures from the Squid Game show, which would suit my needs, but as you can see they also do have a cost of £12.99 each, which for me was way much to pay, and it does feel like a really unnecessary inflated price. I've put a link to this page however though in the description below, so if you're interested to look these minifigures up, feel free. So instead I continued and extended my search, and that's when I came across this site, onbuy.com. Here you can see they do a larger set of minifigures for the cost of almost one of the minifigures from Firestar Toys. I know these are probably going to be lower quality than that from Firestar Toys, but these are just display pieces so I can probably live with that. So I ordered a set of these, and these are the ones that we're going to take a look at today. They took just over 2 weeks to arrive, and first up we're going to open up the packet and build all the minifigures and then take a closer look at each one. A link again for onbuy.com and the minifigures I've purchased is also in the description below. Okay, so let's see what we've got inside the box then. So inside we've got various packages of different groups of minifigures that we have to put together. So as you typically get with lots of Chinese minifigures, they usually have all the arms and everything separate, so you have to plug them together, and sometimes you have to actually stick the arms and legs in. I don't think that's the case with this pack, but let's open up and see what we've got in each bag and then build each of the minifigures quickly. These bags do come with some extra pieces in which can be used to reconstruct certain scenes. So here you can see we've got a circle face card from the TV show, and we need to stick in his red arms. There's his arms. You can tell that the quality of the plastic isn't as good as you would get, say, in LEGO. It does feel a little bit more brittle. This is 225 that we're constructing here, who was one of the players in the game. Put his hands on, and he's got some hair, so you can see there's 225, and then to finish off our guard here, he's got some black hands to go in his arms. On each side, and then he's got this big hood headpiece, so then he ends up looking like that. And here you can see we've got some extra elements left over. There is a minifigure gun, which of course is being held by the guard. Looks like a kind of like an Uzi gun. And then we've got a couple of spare hands, both in black and pink, and then we've got a few more extra pieces here which we would use to construct something from the show. And actually these bits left over here are actually used to construct a bit of a tree, I think, which was from the show. But we're not going to construct that as part of that because I'm really only interested in these two minifigures. So at the first bag, we've got 215 as a character who's in the competition. Then we've got one of the guards, a circle face guard like that. So those are the first two out the bag. Next up, we'll choose this bag. Again, we've got a guard and somebody competing in the events. So in here we've got a squared faced guard here. Same deal as the others. We'll have to stick on the arms and the black hands. And we've got a few more items in here to construct a bit more of a tree, I believe. Again, I'm not going to do that. This black hand doesn't actually want to go into the arm. Oh, that was a bit of a shove. And then he's got his hood on again. So there we've got the square face guard. And then our competitor here is 67. So just going to put her arms on and her hands. And she's got this black hair sweeping down. So there's Challenger 67. So again, put all those items to the side. You've got spare hands in there again. Now we've got square face guard and we've got 67 built out of that bag. Next up, we'll continue with the guards and challengers. Here we've got a circle face guard again, so we've already got one of these. Now we've got another one. Put his arms on, put his hood on first this time, and then we'll squeeze his black hands into position. Oh, as his body and legs come apart. You've got another gun. Hands are a little tricky to stick in on a few of these, but they do go in with some force. So we've got another circle face guard. His legs are a little flimsy on this one. They do seem to move easily. Hopefully it'll be alright. And then we've got 4, 5, 6, and the main guy himself really from the TV programme. He's got to be just one printed face, which is looking pretty angry by all accounts here. Put his hands on and then he's got his black hairpiece like that. So there we go, we've got 4, 5, 6 and then we've got another circle faced guard there. Again, we've got more items left over that can help construct a tree. I can't remember the relevance of a tree. I think it might be something to do with the red light, green light game. I might be wrong. In this bag, we've got 2 minifigures to build, so we've got no guards in this one. So we've got 218 here with some glasses. Who needs some arms? Let's just ping some arms on. And then stick his hands in. And then we'll stick his haircut on. So there's 2 hair pieces in here. Hopefully I'll get these the right way around. 218 there. So he was he's friend of 456 who was an accountant, I think, or a lawyer or some big shot in the city. So there he is, 218. Then we've got 154 here. He's got a slight scar on his face. just put these arms on. And his hands. And his hair. Quite a big hairpiece, but there you go. You can see 154 and then 218 as well. So those are complete. So we've got some more challenges. Again, leftovers there to build a tree. Next up, we've got 149 competitor there with a bit of a smirk on his face. Just one face print like the others. And he's got his black sticky up hair going on there. Stick his hands in. And then there's 149 competitor. Then we've got this black character here who's called the front man. So he was the guy in charge of all the games and all of the sort of soldiers and guards, making sure that the whole game ran properly. So he's all in black like the program. Black arms, let's put some black hands in there, and then he also has a hood to go over. And I suppose the mask there is not that great, but you got some indication there of the print on his face. You got the front man in this bag, and we've got 149 as a competitor. Again, more pieces for a tree there. Then in our next bag, we have another guard. We've got a triangle face guard this time. Just put his hood on. Stick his arm and hands in. Again, his legs feel a little bit flimsy on this one. We've got another gun to put in his hand as well. So there's the triangle faced guard complete there. And then our challenger in this bag is 199. So this is the guy who was actually best friends with 218, I think. He was from India. I've got the right person. So he's got these dark tan hands going on. Large black hair piece as well. Looking a bit sort of angry actually in that picture. But there's 199. And in this bag, we've got more bits for this tree which we can construct if we want. As I mentioned, I won't be bothering to do that for this video, but in here we've got 78, Challenger 78. He's looking a bit sort of smug. Stick his hands in. And his hairpiece, which is quite a spiky hairpiece there. Then here we have number 1. This was the old man. I won't spoil it by mentioning anything about him, but this is the competitor number 1, who you'll see if you've not watched it in the TV show pretty early on. He has no hairpiece. He was sort of quite bald almost in the show. We've got number 1 and 78. And then our last bag, got a base plate there to construct the tree which I've been talking about. But in here also we have the green light, red light lady, who's the same scale as the minifigures actually, so it doesn't quite work because in the show she's obviously quite much larger. But I suppose it's a nice touch to have the figure in there, and you can recreate the scenes. She's got Oh, so he has got a skirt piece on, which is a bit cumbersome actually. It's just a plastic square piece that goes between the legs and the torso. It's got some pink hands and then a big hair piece here. So there you go, there's the red light, green light lady. And then finally our last minifigure here is number 61, Challenger 61. So we've got another female in the group. I think she was a bit of a crazy lady. Let's put her hands in there. And there's number 61. So as you can see, we finished construction of all these parts here. So on the sort of bad side, we've got all these characters here. So we've got the red light, green light girl, triangle face guard, we've got the front man, we've got two circle face guards here, and a square face guard. So the different shapes obviously depicts different rank that these guards are at, and they've all sort of carrying an Uzi gun. So we've got 6 bad characters. And then if we bring in our challenges, you can see we've got 10 challenges here, which brings it to the 16 figures as per description in the set. And we've got player number 1, player 199, player 78, player 61, player 149, player 154, 456, which is the main character, 67, 218 and 215. And so I'm quite pleased with these figures. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the quality could be slightly better, but for me just to display these is probably going to be enough. So that's the construction of the minifigures. So taking a closer look at each minifigure here, you can see that this first character up is called the front man. This character in the series is in charge of running the games and organising the various guards. You can see here he is all in black with a black hood, and he does include some print detail on the front of his torso but none on the back. You can see here from the photo of the real character that he does have print on the face mask, but it doesn't quite look right. But he's still recognisable nonetheless as the front man. Next up is the red light green light girl, which was the first game that everybody had to play as contestants in the show. So it's not officially a character in the series, but iconic nonetheless. Here you can see that the scale of the character is the same as the other figures, so in that sense it isn't quite as realistic as she was in the show, as she was much bigger. They have matched the clothes, including a skirt, and there is some print on the front of the torso. This was an extra minifigure for me and not one I particularly wanted, but would allow you to recreate one of the games, and the set also includes parts to build the tree, which was also a feature in this game, but I chose not to build that during the build. Continuing the bad guy theme, we move over to our first type of guard, square face guards, which appear in the series and help control the other guards and competitors in the show. There is a standard printed red torso for the clothing. He's also complete with a black hands and a black face, which does feature the square print and has some extra detail on. Finishing off with a red hood, he also has a minifigure Uzi gun. Our next guard is a triangle face. He is exactly the same in terms of the legs, torso and hood and gun as the square face guard, but you can see that this one has a printed triangle on his face. The final guards of the set are 2 circle face guards. These are the basic level guards in the series, which are seen quite a lot. The minifigure detail is the same again as the previous guards, with the same torso and legs and hands, but they do have a different minifigure head with the printed circle on the face. Now let's move over to the competitors. First up we have number 1, the old man. You can see here he doesn't have a hairpiece, as he almost has no hair in the series. He is an older gentleman, and so the printed face reflects his age, and there is no print round the back. Seen here in a green or teal coloured tracksuit, you can see they have printed on the front of the torso the tracksuit and competitor number, but there's no print on the rear, and on his legs he does have some print to show that he's wearing some white plimsolls. Here we have competitor 78. They have a slightly different printed torso this time, with an open tracksuit, and you can make out the competitor number again on their t-shirt underneath. They have the same leg design and prints for plimsolls as the previous contestant, but we have a new face print here and have a spiked hairpiece on his head. I'm not sure this character actually featured much in the show, as I can't really find the actor reference, so if you do know who this character is, do add it in the comments below, but I wonder whether he's actually player 278 and not just 78, and maybe they printed the number wrong. Next up is 61, a female character who wasn't in the show for many episodes and wasn't that prominent in the show. She can be seen here in a teal tracksuit again, but mostly zipped up at the front, with printed plimsolls and a female face with a longer hairpiece. Here we have contestant 149, another less prominent character, but from what I can see was a female character in the show and not a man as depicted here. Here he has a sinister printed face and shorter black hairpiece with an open tracksuit in teal. Now we have contestant 154 or 154, again a less prominent character who gets shot trying to escape from the show. In the show he was an older gentleman, but this figure does make him look a little younger. As you can see on his face, he does have a print of a scar, complete with shorter hair and some sort of styling in his hair, and he's featured a printed closed tracksuit. Next up we have competitor 67. She was one of the final competitors in the show. Here you can see that she is wearing a closed tracksuit print on her torso, with a continued print on her legs to show the plimsolls. The minifigure face does show a female face, and she has a black hairpiece of medium hair length. Next up is competitor 215, again another character I can't quite recognise, and I think is actually a female in the show, but he does look like one of the guys in the rival gang to me, and he has a slightly open printed torso jacket and printed legs. He has a menacing printed face, one that looks like it has stubble or scars on, and has a black hairpiece. If you know again who this character is, do put it in the comments below and let me know. Here is a character I do recognise, it's number 218. He is a childhood friend of the main character in the show of 456, and I think is a solicitor or an accountant in the real world. You can see he has a printed torso, and my figure has a slightly wonky printed plimsoll print on his feet. In his face it shows a man with glasses and shorter hair as he does in the show. Next up is character 199. He was a pretty good friend to our last minifigure in the show, 218, and he hails from India called Ali Abdul. He has an open tracksuit printed torso here and printed plimsolls, and comes with a medium nugget or brown coloured hands and head, with a sort of angry looking face which is finished off with more black hair. And finally we have character 456. He is the main character in the show, and you can see here that his character appears with a printed open tracksuit torso again, along with plimsolls printed on his legs. He does show an almost uncharacteristic angry face here with larger black hairpiece on his head, and I'm questioning whether the angry face is from later in the show where he does actually get quite annoyed with lots of people. Overall, I was pretty pleased with the set of figures. Yes, I've got a few figures that I'm not really quite sure are right or have the right number printed on, but I've got a nice set of core minifigures that look close enough to the characters in the show, and generally the quality is okay. There was the odd wonky print and a few hands which were quite hard to connect together, and there was a few legs that might feel a little loose when you move them about, but that won't affect the display on my shelf. So if you want a low cost option for getting these minifigures and to maybe recreate some of the scenes from the show, then you can't go too wrong with purchasing these figures. But if you want a better quality minifigure and you may want to use them more often rather than display them, then you might want to check out Firestar Toys. Again, links for all of these are in the description below. If you found this video interesting or helpful, do hit that like button as it helps us grow the channel, and hit that subscribe button with a bell notification turned on to join our LEGO community and be notified about future videos. And until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.